one of the more talented men in the business of show, calling in from the set of Ant-Man in Atlanta. Good buddy, Paul Rudd. How are you, Paul?
Rich, I'm so honored to be on your inaugural show.
Thank you. When was the last time you used the word inaugural in a sentence?
Probably this morning when I decided to have a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
I said out loud to nobody in particular, because there was nobody else in the room, I'm about to break into this inaugural bowl of cereal.
And
my first one.
There you go. And now you're on this inaugural program. I appreciate
the
that.
word of the day.
It is. It is. What do you think of your Chiefs yesterday, Paul?
Day.
What did you think of your Chiefs yesterday, Paul? What happened there?
Oh, couple of hard mistakes there. It was pretty rough. It was pretty distressing. I really wanted to win that one for Alex, and got to hand it to the 49ers. They capitalized. They did it all right. That 12 men on the field, though, that was
that was a brutal one.
I scared my son.
You did.
I scared him because I screamed so loud, and then I think I threw a pillow. I was sitting on the couch. And I could see.
Poor Jack.
I could see the seeds of trauma setting in.
But he's now getting into this now. How old is Jack?
Oh, he's so into football. It's crazy. He's 9.
Yeah.
Soon to be 10. But he talks about stats and players and he's really into Dad, who are the top 5? Who would you say running backs of all time? He's really into top 5 lists and 10 lists, and he knows his stuff.
See, because right now, my oldest Xander, all he wants to know is who gets the trophy. Right? He thinks that every game involves a trophy. And I try to let him know that there's only one. Well, there's really, I can't tell him about the Hallis Trophy. I mean, that would really confuse him, that's for the NFC Championship. But that's all he wants. So I'm waiting for that moment where he goes from just thinking every game has a trophy to wondering who the top 5 running backs of all time is.
It happened around 8,
okay.
I think, with, my kid.
Okay.
8 and then 9. Really intensely. It seemed like everyone in his school, all of his buddies, kind of got into sports around the same time, and then they all, it's like a group think kind of thing. That's like when they were 5, everyone was Star Wars. When they were 7, everybody was Harry Potter. 6 and 7,
right?
And then 8, everyone kind of started getting into basketball. 9, football.
Oh, okay.
That's what I found to be the case, at least in my son's school.
I need to write that down because I need to follow that.
But and I think about it too. When I was a kid, I was about his age. I was probably about 8, I'd say.
Yes.
8 or 9, and that was when it was the Steelers, and I became just obsessed, and that was it.
With the
all
Steelers,
the way for years and years, it was just that's all I cared about. That's all I wanted to talk about. I was myopic. It was the only thing that really existed to me.
Yeah. When I was 8, it was Richard Todd of the Jets. That's what it was for me. And I had those bed sheets that had all the marks and logos of all the teams.
Yeah, I had that too. I had it in a sleeping bag.
What do you mean?
I had a sleeping bag, a Steelers sleeping bag, but when you unzipped it, inside was all the teams, and it would say Browns and Seahawks and things would be it had all the names and logos.
But now you're full on Chiefs, as we know.
Yeah.
And so
I like the Steelers a lot.
You still do?
It seems weird, it's like, how can you switch allegiance like that? But I moved around a lot when I was a kid, and when I lived in Kansas City, from kind of like the age of 10 through college, I was never a big Chiefs fan. I liked them okay, but it wasn't, and I think this sometimes happens, I guess, when you move away from the place that you kind of grew up or you used to live, you have some kind of connection to. That's when it started kicking in for me. I was in my 20s, and I started really rooting for the Chiefs, and I've been I'm a big Chiefs fan.
See, I thought you guys were going to win in San Francisco yesterday just because of the mere mojo factor.
Yeah, I know.
The Royals.
Kansas City has gotten very accustomed to winning this week. It's a new thing for us. We don't know how to handle it.
That shot of that.
What's so weird is everybody is so completely stoked about the Royals
Mhm.
that the Chiefs. It's the weirdest thing. It's October, and it's the Chiefs were getting like the second page of the newspaper. You know, it's never no one has ever talked about the Royals at this time of the year. So it made even that 49ers game, I think, a little less brutal. You know?
So yeah, you got that nice soft Royals landing that you're not used to having, and that was one of my favorite shots of the sports week when the Royals beat the A's in like their umpteenth inning or whatever it was, and they showed a shot of George Brett, and George Brett couldn't even believe what he had just seen. But the great Kansas City, he is the Royal, right? He's royalty.
Seeing that shot of George Brett, and last night too, when they swept it and they showed Brett, it looked like he was starting to get a little emotional. He had some tears in his eyes. I almost started crying.
Now, do you go to any of these games? Will you be able to if they go to the World Series? Let's just flash forward.
I'm doing whatever I can. By the way, my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law, they were all there last night.
Were they really?
And I will do whatever I can to go to any of the games. I haven't missed a pitch. I mean, I've been watching. Thankfully, I've been able to watch every one on TV, and I've been wearing the same shirt, which is kind of gross.
Wait a minute.
But I'm
so you're superstitious?
Just so into it.
You're
and
superstitious
so hopefully
like that?
I will be able to make it too.
You're superstitious like that?
Depends on the work schedule.
Are you superstitious like that, Paul?
I am. It's weird. I didn't think that I was.
Mm-hmm.
But when I live in New York, and obviously it's like when Jeter was leaving, it was an amazing time, and when Jeter got his walk-off hit that last game, a friend of mine, some friends were watching it, and one of my buddies said, "What if he wins it on a walk-off hit?" And another friend was like, "You have to go outside now and turn around 3 times and come back in." And so he did it, and then Jeter, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I have now co-opted that, and I've actually made my wife, my son, my daughter, who is only 4,
yes,
go outside and turn around 3 times at different stages of the Royals game last night.
And look what happened.
And I have other friends that have said other things like, "It's looking good, man. They're going to sweep." It's like, well, go outside now and go turn around 3 times. So I've really, and I have this same shirt that I've worn every day, and I don't know how it happened, but I kind of have become that superstitious. I guess when it just comes to these Royals.
Sure, it works. It certainly works. Do you wear the same shirt for your fantasy team every week, Paul?
No.
Okay.
Maybe should start to.
How is your fantasy team?
Demolished.
Really?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. Well, I'm in a couple of leagues, and one's better than the other, or. But yesterday I was so into the Royals game, I didn't even check my scores.
Oh, come on!
Today, that's how obsessed I've been about it. But yeah, I didn't win.
So on your better team? Give me the lineup, and then is your team name safe for work? Is it safe for using?
Well, I've got a couple. One team is just the team name is Dench. With an exclamation point, and my logo is just a picture of Judi Dench. And that's a decent lineup. That's a keeper league. And then,
who do you have on? Who's on Dench? Who's on Dench? Exclamation point.
Who's on Dench? All right, I'm bringing it up right now.
Okay.
Just so I don't forget anybody.
Yeah, you don't want to leave it out because if there's an NFL player who is on Dench and doesn't get the shout out here on the inaugural show, I think. It may rule the roost when Dench hits the virtual gridiron next week.
It seems as if I have no connection here. Well, I know that my quarterback is Matt Stafford.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, he didn't have
my running backs are Jamal Charles. This is, by the way, a keeper league. So Jamal Charles, I kept,
of course,
and Jamal Charles and Rashad Jennings. I also have. I kept Jimmy Graham as my tight end, but I also have Travis Kelce.
A lot of injuries.
I have Brandon Cooks. I have Kelvin Benjamin. Let's see, who else?
Kelvin Benjamin is on
I feel like it's
Dench.
pressure. It's like I'm on the show.
No, it's okay. But I think we get the general.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Now bring it up. Now I got Dench on the phone. Okay. Stafford, Jamal Charles, Rashad Jennings, Kelvin Benjamin, Brandon Cooks, Jimmy Graham, Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, he's good.
Niall Davis, Marcus Colston, Edelman.
So is Dench 1-3? 1-3, 2-2?
Dench is Dench is 2-2.
Okay. And are you winning this week, or you're not? You're not winning this week. That doesn't sound like.
I didn't. I got crushed.
Yeah, Jennings and Graham got knocked out of their games. Yeah,
I know.
And Stafford was.
I know.
Bad week for Dench. Bad week for Dench.
Yeah. And then the other, and then on my main league, the one that I care, I have, which is when I saw you, I met Ed Hockley, and I took a picture with him.
Yeah, when you did the Anchorman stuff last year.
As my logo, Ed Hockley and I together, and the name of that team is Chop and Hockley, and that's Matt Ryan.
Okay.
Quarterback.
On Chop and Hockley.
Doug Martin and Fred Jackson.
Doug Martin. I have Doug. Paul. I've got Doug Martin on it.
AJ Green.
I've got Doug Martin on a team, and that has been frustrating. That has been frustrating all year. Doug Martin has been really very frustrating.
I know.
And you got to see him up close and personal that Thursday night game that we saw each other at Atlanta and Tampa. Not very good night for Doug Martin or anybody else for that matter.
No one from Tampa. What a weird season, though. Tampa gets crushed, and then they go out and they beat the Steelers the next week. And
almost took the Saints down. And the reason why you're in Atlanta is you are shooting Ant-Man. How's that going? How's being Ant-Man going for you?
It's good. We're about, let's see, we're not quite halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really fun and strange, like different than anything I've ever done.
Well, what powers does Ant-Man have, Paul?
Well, he can shrink.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very sexy, like when it comes to superhero powers.
Right.
But he can get really, really tiny, like to the size of an ant.
Mm-hmm.
But he has regular size strength. Actually, he has increased strength.
Ah.
Okay. And then he can also communicate with ants. Which I still laugh when I say that.
Yes, you just did. So it's sort of like a comedy. It's sort of like a more funny look at the Marvel, I guess, type movie. Is that what it is?
Well, I think there'll be laughs in it. It's certainly funny, but it's not. I don't know. I don't think I'm part of the fun is I'm curious as to what it's going to be.
Okay.
What to expect. I don't think that. It's going to be straight up comedy. I mean, there's a lot of really cool action, and it's funny in the way that their movies tend to be, I think.
And just trying to get into the way you work, Paul, have you been Ant-Man throughout this entire conversation? Have you stayed in character throughout this entire chat?
Oh, yes, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when you called me Paul, I almost didn't know who you were talking to for a second. My name is Scott. I'm so in character that I'm wearing my wardrobe right now.
Wow, that's next level. Paul,
and I'm completely covered in ants.
Paul, thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it. You are a good man. You're one of the best around. And I gave Big Slick a little pop too. So Big Slick Casey for
well, that's very nice of you, Rich. Thank you so much. And no joke, I'm so happy to be here. I wish I could be there in person. But it's these damn ants that are keeping me away.
I hear you. And you know what? That's understandable. That's understandable. So thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.
Of course.
You bet. That's Paul Rudge phoning in from the set of Ant-Man in Atlanta. Thanks for calling in, Paul.